marble flooring, walk-in closet, or your private badminton court or rain shower. So you want your call to actions be simple, but yet
Yuen?
so
Sorry, could you just go back to your previous slide for like few seconds?
which previous slide?
Yeah, this one. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, don't worry guys, because this session's recording will be on our YouTube channel as well. Yeah. Okay, so the other call to actions you can have for advertised listing can also be click to get a 3D or virtual property tour. If you guys have subscribed to Matterport or can consider subscribing to Matterport, especially during this season as well. So let's say you want to attract listings with your ad. These are also some of the sample call to actions that you can put in your ad as well. For example, what's your home worth? Find out today. Get your free online home valuation now, or click to get a free market report for your neighborhood. And also like find out more about your home selling opportunities. Next, please. So after seeing these samples earlier, let me share what you should not do in writing your ad copy. So do not use short forms, spell out all your words so you sound more professional as well. And don't write a 2 to 3 paragraph like an essay in your ad. So like keep it short, and if needed to list down certain pointers for your ad, you can also use bullet points. And lastly, don't overcomplicate it. So like Brandon Kane mentioned, if your audience have to think too hard or too little about your hook point, it's not a good choice. Make sure that your concept doesn't take more than 3 seconds to grasp. Okay. Next, so here are some examples of ineffective ad copy. So if you can see the ad on your left, it says, wow, I know for sure that this is your dream house. And then you see the call to action says, this could be yours. There are many exciting landmarks and amenities nearby. So this will actually take more than a couple of seconds for any potential leads to try and understand what are you trying to sell, or maybe trying to figure out where exactly the location is. So if they take too long to try and understand your ad, they probably will not click to find out more at the end of the day. So the ad on the right, so this is an example of a clickbait ad. So you want to kind of just attract their attention and you want them to click. But what might happen is your ad and also your identity and your branding as an agent might seem a bit, maybe it's not authentic. Then it seems a bit dodgy because, yeah, based on the copy and then the emoticons you use. So we do encourage you guys to use emoticons, but we will show you more examples later so you can understand as well. Next, please. Can I just check like how many of you all have attended or watched the Tyler Shields session last week? Can you type 1 in the chat box? If you didn't manage to watch it yet, we will really recommend you to do so, because he has also touched a lot on how you can create successful ads in his session. And the video recording, it will be up on our YouTube channel already. So I will just quickly touch on some of the pointers he mentioned. So Tyler Shields actually mentioned that you should use emojis, and sometimes you can also replace words with emojis. The color and the emojis will actually attract attention and also attract people to click on your ad as well. So for example, instead of saying fire sale, then you can use the fire emoticon to replace, and also indirectly make your copy shorter. Also be intentional with your copy. Find out the unique selling points of the properties and you use it to your advantage. Next, have clear to call actions as mentioned previously. So you need to make sure that you need to tell your audience what to do next with the information given. So for example, you can write like click here to get a free market report. So it's very clear if they're interested, what they should do next. And also in this season of COVID-19 and CMCO, you can also use words like virtual or 3D tours, again, if you have Matterport access, because by using these kind of words, you can attract attention by saying that you don't even need to leave your house. You can just view 7 to 8 types of property all right from your phone and your laptop. And also you need to know who you are talking to, because you need to tailor your communication to your target audience. For example, how you want to communicate with a first home buyer compared with a high-end buyer is very different. You use different keywords as well. And lastly, always remember to create an ad that you yourself will click on if you were a buyer on social media. Next, please. So yesterday, we also had a watch party session by Brandon Kane. And Brandon Kane is actually a social media guru who has helped celebrities like Taylor Swift, Rihanna, and also companies like Disney and Netflix, and a lot of other Fortune 100 companies. And he has 15 years worth of social media experience. So one of the most important tips mentioned by Brandon Kane was actually your ad copy needs to have a hook point. And what is a hook point? A hook point is actually a copy that can help you to grab your audience attention in the shortest possible amount of time. For example, in 3 seconds. And it's also something that can be packaged in a way that's concise, catchy, impactful, interesting, and true. And lastly, it's something that captures their attention and ultimately leaves them wanting for more. Because at the end of the day, people love to buy, but they hate to be sold to if your ad is too hard sell at the end of the day. Next slide. So we have also prepared samples of hook points. And for me, I feel that hook points can actually be made up of catchy phrases, but you can also feature your property's unique selling points, which I will actually touch on after this as well. So what are some examples of catchy phrases if you guys have also attended the watch party yesterday? So for example, you can attract people's attention by writing in your ad, win your mother-in-law's heart this year. Check out this residential bungalow with a beautiful landscape garden. Or maybe if you are looking to attract listings, you can have a statement that is flashing out to them and say what's wrong with your property. And then in your other ad copy, then you can mention, let us help you to figure out your problem if you are unable to sell your property for the last few months, for example. And maybe if you're targeting people, you're targeting investors, you can also use hook points like switch homes in a flash. For example, you can continue by saying like, are you interested in staying in a different property for 7 days a week? So these are just some examples you can use as well. Next slide. So before I end, I also want to just quickly touch on how you can identify your property's unique selling points. So here I actually listed 4 categories. So firstly, you need to identify your target audience. Are you targeting first home buyers? Are you targeting investors or luxury home buyers? And second, you can also mention the location of your property. Are they prime locations near amenities, near public transportation, shopping malls, or example is in a developed township? And you also can mention about the price, especially if the price is very competitive in that particular neighborhood, or if your client is willing to sell below market value or giving excellent rebates. And then amenities. Does it have infinity pool, sauna, indoor gym, badminton court, landscape garden? So when you mention these type of unique selling points for your client's listing or even the project that you're selling, these are actually very good hooks to get them to click to find out more, or at the end of the day, set up an appointment to view the property as well. So guys, do you have any questions so far before we move on?
If any of you have questions, you can just post on the chat box there. So when the speaker, when you find appropriate, will answer your questions.
Okay, if there's no questions, then we will move on to the next section.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Yuen and I'm the regional intern. And today we are going to just demo for you how to set up and publish a campaign, and also just go through the different kinds of ad copies for advertising a listing, and also to attract listings. And we will also go through the different kinds of copies that you would need to put in your different text sections to make it flow a bit better. So let me just stop this screen sharing and share this one instead. Okay, so as many of you have tried to set up your campaigns already, this page should not look very different to you. So you just click create a new campaign and then social ad. So for the first ad, we are going to try to advertise a listing, and we're going to do it on Facebook. So we set up campaign. As always, this is not available yet, so just close this. Okay, so the first thing that you will notice is that, yeah, the preview is on the right side, and then as you enter your text, the preview actually will show you how your text will look like. So for the advertised listing on Facebook platform, we are going to use the Damansara Seresta as an example of how to advertise the listing. So I think first things first, it's important to remember that good photos are important, because I'm sure even as you scroll through your own Facebook or whatever, good photos catch your eyes, right? So I will put in the photo later, but we will just go through the copy first. So this is the main copy, which will go here. So let me just show you. Yeah, so it says hello here, and then the headline is here, and then the description is here. So I think one thing to remember is that all these copies actually support each other. There are different types, and there are different things that you should mention in these sections, but all of them support each other. And in order to make it flow properly and smoothly, then we would need to, it's kind of like a trial and error thing. As you create more campaigns and as you just try out different kind of copies, you would sort of get the hang of it and see what works and what doesn't work. So for Damansara Seresta, I am not an agent, so the information that I can get about the listing is actually from the website itself. So let's just go and see the website. So you can see that, yeah, Damansara Seresta is located in Banasri Damansara. There are different things. So what I'm doing now is actually I'm looking for the unique selling points of the property, right? So one thing they mentioned is that, oh, you have Bukit Lanjan Forest Reserve as your backdrop, or you can live the best of both worlds, outdoors and indoors. And then there is also a cascading waterfall. There's also this a sense of community. And also that, yeah, Damansara Seresta offers 452 freehold units and stuff like that. So what you need to do, as Yuen has mentioned earlier, is that you need to be familiar and be accustomed to the unique selling points of your property, and that will very greatly help the copies that you will need to write. Okay, so for example, from what I saw earlier, I think that a great hook point for Damansara Seresta is the forest reserve, right? So let me just write that down first. And then another thing is possibly maybe the cascading waterfall. And I guess another thing is also that it's a freehold condominium in Damansara, because that's kind of hard to find. So just write it down. So just a note, whatever you write here is not final yet. So you can write and then you edit as you go, because sometimes it doesn't look too nice at first glance. You know, after you think about it a bit more, it's like, okay, maybe this sounds better, right? Okay, so I think that these three things are maybe the best hook points that I can find about Damansara Srestha. So now it's time to phrase it properly so that it doesn't just look like this, okay? So maybe I can write, wake up next to a forest reserve and a cascading waterfall with this freehold condominium in Damansara. Right, so as mentioned earlier, you want to keep it to 1 or 2 short sentences at most, because people are not on Facebook to read essays, and you know, if you type too long, people might lose interest halfway. So that is the point of, right, the hook point is to grab an attention in less than 3 seconds, right? So you can add emojis if you want. So let's say I think I like this tree emoji since it's talking about a forest reserve, right? So I'll just put it there, and then maybe I'll put a heart emoji because maybe some people love the forest, so I just put it there. So it looks nice. It doesn't always have to make sense, I think, but you have to use it tastefully lah, right? You cannot just like simply put different emojis that don't make sense. Okay, so I think I'm quite happy with that for now. That's the main copy. And then now I'm going to go through the headline. So the headline is the bolded part, which I guess summarizes what your advert is about. So let me try it. Okay, I'll put a home that lets you enjoy both the great indoors and outdoors, exclamation mark. Okay, so it is again utilizing the unique selling point of Damansara Srestha, right? Is that, yeah, it's next to a forest reserve and stuff like that, and the inside is also very nice. So yeah. And then the description. So if you notice here, they actually have suggestions for you. So you can use this to kind of inspire your copywriting. So I think, yeah, maybe let's do this. You could be coming home to this, or so you could be coming home to this. And then if let's say you have more information about, for example, the price or rebates and all these kinds of stuff, then you can put this in here as well. You know, make price starting from for example, just XXX. Okay, so I think that's also one thing. Sometimes if you put the exact pricing of the property, it might throw people off. So one way to keep people interested is to maybe just put, like, if let's say the property costs maybe 876,000, you don't really want to put that specific number, so you just put 8XXK, and then they're like, oh, okay, it looks reasonable. And then when they message you, then you can tell them more information about the property itself. So you could be coming home to this is the call to action, and then maybe this is another information that I want to give to them. So you can select the media. Again, good photos are important. I think I made one already. Yes, so Srestha demo. And then I will wait for it to load for a bit. Okay, it's here. Okay, so preview and crop image. So I like it square. So yeah, so if you can see now with the picture inside, you can tell that, hey, when people scroll through, they will see a waterfall, and your caption, or your copy also mentions the cascading waterfall, right? So it kind of makes sense now. And yeah, this is what you are letting people know, that this is the unique selling point. You know, look at this advertisement. Okay, and then so if you are happy with this, then you can publish it. Of course, it's important to remember to configure the ad to which page you want to put, and then use the Facebook lead generation form. and then enter the destination URL. So that is one example of how to write copies for advertisements, or not for advertisements, sorry, for your ads on Facebook. Yeah. So again, it's picking out the unique selling points, using emojis tastefully, and also just keeping it short and sweet so that people don't take too long or take too short a time to scroll through your ad. Okay, so this is what you can do. And if you feel like your picture is very nice and you want to utilize it for another ad, you can actually change the copy just using the same image. And then in that way, you can also test out which kind of copies work and which kind of copies don't work with the same image. Or vice versa, you can use the same image. Oh no, you can use the same copy with different images, and then you can just try it out and see lah. Okay, so this is how you, or I guess the way I see it, because I actually personally saw this ad on my own Facebook feed, and then I actually clicked into it because this was the unique selling point that was sold to me, and I was drawn in. So as mentioned earlier, you need to place yourself in the shoes of a buyer. Like what would you want to see that will draw you into, I guess, yeah, make you find out more about a specific property. Okay, so this is on Facebook. Now we're gonna try to do one on Instagram. And why it's different is because on Instagram, okay, wait, let me type, oops, add listing demo 2. Okay, we're gonna try to attract listings on Instagram. I click setup campaign. Okay, so the difference between Facebook and Instagram is that Instagram, you only have one line, or not one line, but you only have one section, which is the main copy, as compared to Facebook earlier where you had 3 copies, right? So you have the main copy, the headline, and the description. Okay, so that is the biggest difference between using Facebook for your ads and Instagram for your ads. Okay, so we're gonna try attracting some listings on Instagram. So again, they actually have suggestions that are ready for you. So thinking of selling, not sure if now is the right time, we can help you find out what your home is worth in today's market. So again, if you're not happy, you can always click shuffle, and there are a lot of options for you to choose from. So yeah, I will actually include the media first so that it kind of makes sense. Okay, so this is what I did with the image of this ad, is that I actually took a picture of a random house, or if you have a specific location where you are, oops, sorry. Come on. Okay, yeah, it's here. Okay, so yeah, if you have a specific location where you already have pictures of, then feel free to use your own. So because this was a question that was asked in the design workshop before, that are there any issues if, let's say, you use these stock images that you can find on KW itself, or even on unsplash.com. So I think for attracting listings, it's not too big of a deal, but of course, if you're selling a specific property, then you should use your own photos that you have taken yourself. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. And the reason why I do this is because I'm going to write a copy that sounds like this. So 5 homes in, let's say, Damansara. Okay, Damansara have just been sold. Or actually, if I'm targeting a specific area, for example, in your area, right? So I can say 5 homes in your area have just been sold. Want to know what they sold for? Click here to find out more. So of course, with these kind of statistics, again, I am not an agent, so I don't really have the proper statistics, but you should know what works and what doesn't work. And I guess the statistics of how your listings have been and all these kind of things. So again, that is something that is important, is that we are actually telling people what is true. We are not selling people something that is fake, right? So that's the difference between clickbait, right? So clickbait is they just want to get you to click to get your attention, but it might not be things that are true, right? So this is one way you can do it. You can say that, 5 homes in your area have just been sold. Want to know what they sold for? Click here to find out more. Okay. So again, with Instagram, it's only a very short section, so you want to keep it short and sweet. Okay. So let's say if I'm happy with this, or maybe I want to add some emojis. Click here. Maybe I put a finger because click here, okay. Or maybe I can put emoji like a house, and maybe money because we're talking about how much a house is worth. So just put like that. See, it doesn't look very so I think the one tip with using emojis is to make sure it doesn't look overboard. It doesn't look like maybe a teenager wrote it. You have to use it tastefully so that it looks nice as well. So yeah, I think I'm quite happy with this. So just save add text. Yeah, so I think that's one way you can just do for Instagram, because Instagram, like I said, it's only one section. So you have to be very clear and concise with ads on Instagram as compared to with ads on Facebook, where you kind of have 3 different sections to kind of just play around with. Yeah. So with the media that you use for attracting listings specifically, Florence and Whaley actually did a workshop last week about using the assets applet, or in the design section, where you can actually put in the details. So your RAN number, your RAN name, and like all of those things. So you can use different images. So like I mentioned, with ads, you have the opportunity to, I guess, mix and match. If you feel like this one image looks good and you don't want it to go to waste, you can use it again, write a different copy and see how that works. Or if you feel like, wow, the copy I write quite good lah, quite nice, you can try that for a different listing, and then you see how that works as well. So I think that's one thing that I would leave with you, is that a lot of times with things like that, there is no hard and fast rule. There is no specific formula that, if you write a certain way plus this picture, you will for sure get these results, because it's not like that. You may have different target audience, and you have different listings, and I think that plays a big part as well. So I think the one thing I'll probably encourage you guys to do is to just test it out, I guess. Use different copies, use different images, and just see how that goes. So one thing to note is also that you need to monitor your ads daily to see how they are working. You cannot just kind of leave it there and then just wait until the campaign ends and you see how it goes. Because if, let's say, halfway through you realize that, oh, this ad isn't working, then you can pause it, and then you can create a new one and then maybe edit here and there. And there's also a command community on the workplace that you can actually just ask for advice, or don't do it on your own. You can actually just ask friends and just ask people for feedback. And most importantly, make ads that you would click on your own if you were a buyer. So where to monitor the ads after posting? So you can actually do that on your command overview, or your campaigns overview page. You can just see every day, like how many clicks or how many leads you have garnered and all these kind of things. Yeah, so I think that is
Qing,
yeah.
can you share screen just to show Don Lee where to get the command stats?
Can, okay. Let me see. So you go back to campaigns. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to save this. So you go to paid ads, and then you can see all the ads that you have seen, you have posted. So obviously these are all the statistics that you can find. So you just click. So that's the reason why you should name your campaigns specific to whatever that you are advertising, so that you can monitor lah. So you can see how many days and then how many leads, and etc. etc. So this is where you find it lah. So campaigns and then dashboard. Oh no, sorry, paid ads. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it on my part. So I'll pass the time back to Yuen.
Okay. So next, we are actually going to have short interviews with Ashlyn to see the type of ads she has actually ran, her and her team has actually ran for the primary market. And after that, we will also go through with Naki and see the kind of listing ads he has also ran for secondary market. So, next, please. Hi, Ashlyn.
Hi, Yuen.
Could you like run through with us how did you or your team actually came up with these few ads that we are sharing on screen?
Okay, hi. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Ashlyn from FDRT. So the process is actually quite easy, actually. Just first of all, of course, we have to begin with an end mind. You got to understand your audience and also their needs. Yeah, so it's very important for us to first identify who are the people that we want to target. So this is the very important question that you got to make it clear first before you proceed with your ad copy, because you want to be just like Yuen just now you mentioned, we want to be very intentional and very purposeful about our ad copy. So you might want to ask yourself this question, am I targeting the first home buyers, the upgraders, or the investors? Identify who are your target audience, because different group of people, they have different needs. So for example, young buyers or the low income group of people, right? A house could just be a shelter to them. But then it's really that basic. So for a high net worth group of target audience, right? A house could means more than just a shelter. So they may be looking for, some status. Yeah, so you got to be very clear about that first. So that is your first step, identify who your target audience is. And then next, you will then start to think of how are you going to craft your message. Hey, how do you want to deliver it to make it very effective? So do you want, ask yourself this question, do you want to deliver a message in a very serious way, or you want it to be fun, hilarious, or do you want them to feel the joy staying in this property, or do you want to deliver the message that hit their heart by highlighting the pain point? Or it can also be you want them to feel more by crafting a message where they are able to picture or imagine themselves staying in this property. So the idea and also the creativity is really endless. So I give you an example here. So if you look at the first ad by Diana, right? So it is actually a project in Sentul. So for this project, most of the clients or most of the buyers, they are actually young families and also first home buyer. So, okay, so look at how Diana actually drafted out this message. She actually brought up this message in a more fun way, and she think of what the young audience really like. So for us, like young people, they like freebies, you got to think of what they like. So they like freebies, they like perks. So these are the things that they'll be attracted to. Or if there's like easy to home scheme, then you might want to mention that in your ad copy as well, because a lot of first home buyers or the young buyers especially, they do not have much money for their down payment, or they don't have much saving they don't even have much saving. Yeah, let's say for if the booking fee is too expensive. So these are the things that are very relevant to them, and you are providing them a solution, and you are actually selling them hope. So look at this ad, the first ad, Rumah di Kawasan Sentul. So it's Yeah, it's very clear. It's in Sentul. RM500 saja booking fee, and just below 300,000 ringgit, you can own a house in KL. Okay, 200 something thousand saja harga rumah boleh dapat di KL. So her call to action, it's apply sekarang, banyak free gift. So she is highlighting the free gift, nak bagi kalau you all dapat beli rumah ini. So it's so when you look at this message, it's like there's some very exciting vibes, and she really highlighted all the things that is relevant to the young buyers or the first-time home buyers. So her headline is gaji bersih 3,000 sebulan boleh apply. Okay, and then klik sekarang untuk semak kelayakan Anda, because we know that over the conversation with the first home buyers, a lot of them, they really wanted to buy property, but they don't know their eligibility. So by giving them a solution here, or by being able to consult them, it will actually attract them to engage or even respond to your ad. Okay, so this is the first ad. Let's move on to the second ad. The second ad is actually the same project, but how the message is being delivered is it's a different way. So this project is the same as the first project. It's actually in Sentul. It's the same project, but how this message was delivered is that we actually come from the point where we actually highlighted their pain point. Yeah, so the target audience is still the same, first-time home buyers. So a lot of first-time home buyers along the journey, when we serve them, we realize that they are actually renting a house. So for this project, especially we have a lot of young family, small family, and they are still renting. So you might want to throw them a very thought-provoking question that make them think like, hey, why rent when you can own a house with that equivalent amount of money that you pay for your monthly rental, right? So which is why the first line, it's mentioned, it's being mentioned that Anda menyewa dengan 1,500 ke 2,000 ringgit sebulan. Yeah, so, and then you ask them another question. So the first question, it really hit to their heart already, because that is their pain point. So kenapa tak beli rumah sendiri dengan bayaran yang lebih murah? Okay, so condo 3 bilik paling murah dan paling laris di KL, and it's true because this project is really so close to the KL city center, and it's really very cheap. So the young buyers or the first home buyers, oftentimes they are looking for something that is cheap and good. And they just want convenience. So hanya 5 km saja ke KLCC. So we are actually targeting the audience where they are staying or working within 5 to 10 km vicinity from the KL city center. So in the end, she also create an urgency where it's being mentioned that sekarang 500 ringgit sahaja booking, hanya tinggal 98 unit sahaja. So PM sekarang. So that's the call to action. And this ad actually it's really very engaging, and our team has gotten so much response whereby to a point where it's so overwhelmed and we couldn't attend all the inquiries, and we have to post it. So it's actually a good, it shows that this ad, it really works, okay? Okay, so move on to the third ad, right? Okay, this project is actually located at Bukit Jalil. So it's a more mature target market. We are targeting for, there are some upgraders, some are downgraders or retirees as well. So for this group of people, you might want to highlight some of the lifestyle that they are about to enjoy if they buy your property. So think of what they want. So probably you are selling them, peace of mind, serenity, exclusivity, security. So for example, this project, the price is around 700,000 to $1 million price point. So it comes with a very huge balcony and also a bedroom, living hall, dining area that is exactly facing the golf course. So, those rich people, they love golf, and golf course is really just at your doorstep, like literally just one elevator away. So you might want to deliver your message along this line as well. So over here, I didn't overcrowd for is just that a freehold is create feeling where it's exclusive. You want to create that kind of vibes. And then we also highlight it's in a very prime location at Bukit Jalil. And the next unit, this is our main unique selling point, which is golf course view. Okay, and it is also 5 minutes to Pavilion 2. So like Pavilion, normally we associate Pavilion with luxury. Yeah, so this condo is literally just 5 minutes away from Pavilion 2, and limited unit left, which is very true because the fact that it is very low density, and then the price is also very, very reasonable compared to the surrounding properties. So the headline, we put here, best deal in Bukit Jalil overlooking the golf course. So this ad we've been running for about 3 weeks now, and we had quite a handful of clients who has showed interest and actually visited our gallery as well. And I'm still running this ad because it is still very effective even up until today. Yeah. Okay, another tips is that your message, you can also draft your message it can be relevant to the current market or some viral news. Okay, I don't have a sample, but just to share with you all, you can actually come up with a message that is relevant to what is happening right now. So for example, if you remember at this, there's one time where we have this very viral news that talk about the golden 460 ringgit burger. So you might want to take advantage of this message and take advantage of this news, and also write a message that is something along this line. So for example, you might want to mention, hey, instead of spending 460 on a burger, why don't you buy a house? So that's a point, right? Yeah, so you can think of, you can also think of your message with what is currently happening in the market. Okay, that's all from me, Yuen.
Thanks, Ashlyn. I think that was very informative, especially for those who are working on the project sites. Do you guys have any questions that you all would like to ask Ashlyn regarding running ads for your projects, or any problems you have encountered on command campaigns at the moment? Lily has actually have a question for you. How many leads you gotten so far, and what is the average cost per lead? Maybe you can just share a bit on that.
Oh, okay. So my the leads that I get for one campaign per day, about 3 to 4 leads, because my budget for a day normally I put about 10. Not ringgit, dollar. 3 to 4 leads for about $10, because I put about $10 for a day. So per lead about 240 to $3, dollar.
So before we move on to Naki, Ashlyn, do you have any other advice or tips for those who are doing projects?
I would say just to keep, really have to keep on trying first, because when I first did it, right, I followed through all the steps, but somehow it didn't give me leads. So so when I approached, I reached out to John Lee. So the moment he saw my ad, right, so I think I tweaked, the main part that I tweaked, right, is really the ad copy. So just by tweaking the ad copy, I'm still using the same image because I think this image is fantastic. So just by tweaking the ad copy, the next day the leads were a lot. So I'm actually creating multiple campaign for the same project and testing out which works for me, and then I'll just continue that. So certain ad that doesn't really work well, so I'll just post it lah. Yeah. So it's really about keep trying and see what works the best, and then you keep on duplicating it and run it. Probably you can add more budget.
Just adding on a bit to what Ashlyn has shared. So if in the beginning you feel that your cost per lead is pretty high, for example, you might even get like $7-8 per lead. like don't give up on that, because one thing we noticed while running the command campaign ads is the command needs a bit of time to kind of like recognize the type of ads you are running and also the audience that you want to target. So you probably won't instantly get like 10 cents USD cost per lead in your first ad, for example. So the one thing Jonathan Lee actually shared is you have to keep trying, keep testing, and slowly but surely command will actually recognize what you will actually want to feature and who do you actually want to target, and the targeting and the cost per lead will slowly become better as well. Yeah. Okay. Kairis has another question for Ashlyn. For the ads that you are currently sharing on screen, which one actually got more leads? Is it the video ad or the static image ad?
Apparently, both video and really good picture image, like one image, it gives us a lot of leads for ourselves. Like I've been trying out carousel, like a few pictures, but it didn't work out as good as a single picture or a video. So I would say both, like one picture and also video, it works really well for us so far.
Yeah. And to add on to what Ashlyn is sharing, Kairis, I think it also depends on the quality of the picture and also the video. So for example, if you put in a very long-winded 5 to 10 minute video, I don't think it will do well compared to a static image. And then again, vice versa, if your image quality is actually quite poor, then a video ad might actually do better for you as well. So at the end of the day, testing is very good so for example, if you have one particular project you're working on, it's actually good to maybe test out at least up to 5 ads, and then you monitor daily. And then from there, I think you can slowly kind of discern what is doing better, like what kind of copy and what kind of material is actually better for your project as well. Thanks so much, Ashlyn, for sharing your team's apps with us. Yeah. So next, we're actually going to have Naki sharing about the sub-sale listing ads that he has recently published as well. Yeah. Naki, you can go on and share.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So this is what all the ads that I've did over the last a few days for the sub-sale market. So because I'm doing sub-sale market, so one thing about Facebook ads you need to understand is, I think initially in the public perception, it's always been Facebook ad relates to new projects. So that's the thing you need to keep in mind when you try to run ads for sub-sale, because mentality of the public is saying like all this sponsored ad from Facebook, or this must be a new project. So you need to, at least when you try to create this ad, you need to make sure that you put yourself in the customer shoes and see that this ad is a sub-sale house. It's not so that's why I think images is really important in this case, because we really want to highlight it's not like a model display, is like the actual physical house. So that's number one, which is really important when you want to highlight, because I do receive, leads coming in. I think these are the leads that simply click, and they say, oh, this is this a new project? Where is this? So you have so many people click, only click, and they don't know what they are clicking on. So I think copywriting is really important, but it can go, I don't think it can go a long way, in a sense of like, you can never capture the perfect lead in a particular ad. It's a trial and error kind of thing. So what your copyright is really important. Who are you attracting? Because like for projects and sub-sales is totally different. When you're trying to promote sub-sale, especially in the market that I'm working on. As you can see, my Facebook page as well is already self-explanatory. It's TTDI Homes. Okay, so when you want to try to capture market in Taman Tun, so the price point is totally different compared to new projects, and the amount of money that they need to fork up as well is a lot. It's like no rebates and everything because it's a sub-sale market. So attracting people differently in a sub-sale compared to new projects. So let me go through number one. Okay, this is a condo. This is basically an exclusive listing that I have. It has the best view in Taman Tun for me. So based on, as you can see, looking at the perfect view, are you looking for the perfect view? I think based on Tyler Shields, he said put on emojis because it attracts more attention. Sometimes that emoji itself, even though it has meaning or no, it definitely attract attention to the buyer. So and then as a headline, I put stunning view below 880K. So it's quite a reasonable price in Taman Tun. I got good leads from this, but some of them, you have that random people clicking as well. Oh, is this a sub-sale project? Is this a project? Where is this? All those kind of questions. So I have a quite balanced lead, good leads and bad leads as well for this particular ad. One of my best ads was the second one, the lovely bungalow in the heart of Taman Tun, situated. So I think what catches people is basically I've provided that click for a 3D virtual tour. So this ad was running for 8 days. It gave a lot of leads coming in over the last 8 days. So, and majority of them are purely genuine leads, but there are a few things that I've learned from making this ad is, number one, if you don't put value of the house, ads will be coming in quite a lot. And I did run, because I'm running two similarly. One, I put the value of the house. So it tends to have fewer leads, but more genuine leads, because people are clicking because they know the value of it. And for this initial campaign that I've did, people are clicking, just want to explore the 3D virtual tour. But at the end of the day, I managed to get 7 appointments for this, 7 physical appointments, and a lot of 3D virtual tours have been provided to them for them to have a look. For my last ad, this was the cheapest. This is promoting the cheapest units in Taman Tun. It's below 600. So if you find anything below 600, it's basically the cheapest in Taman Tun. I got a lot of leads from this, but the thing is, if it's cheap, it's a Malay Reserve unit. So I did not put it there because sometimes, when you capture market, this ad is particularly focusing on, trying to get people to be interested even on a unit below 600. So, some of the leads probably wants to look at, I can, channel them to projects around 6. So those are the intention that I wanted to do for this ad.
Naki, so just wanted to check for the bungalow ad. Do you actually record a 3D virtual tour using Matterport?
Correct.
Would you recommend, or maybe you can also share a bit of an experience using Matterport, and how do you find it relevant, especially in this current CMCO season as well?
Okay, having Matterport as one of your weapons is something that gives you a competitive edge. That's number one. But when you're doing sub-sale, it can be quite difficult in a sense of you want to do Matterport shot, you need to ensure the house is really neat, or because it's 3D viewing, you don't want a messed up house, a very dirty house. So I think that particular house in a good condition, it's quite difficult. I only managed to probably now do like 11, 12 Matterport shot with a good house, but for if like house has been tenanted, or houses that is like owner is occupying it, it will be quite difficult for you to do that Matterport shot. But it really gives us the competitive advantage in terms of I've got a lot of organic leads, giving them listing to me for me to market it, but not in Anton area. But I have a few in Tamanton area as well.
Does anyone have any questions for Naki before we move on to the Q&A part? Like there's one question from Laura. What is the area and price for your TTDI bungalow? She might have a third buyer.
Okay. Laura, I can reply to you privately if you want.
Any ad-related questions, especially for those who are doing sub-sales? Oh, Lily actually asked, could you show us snippets of your 3D virtual tour?
Oh, okay. I can hold on.
Yeah, maybe you can just show a couple of seconds. Then I guess others will be interested in viewing as well.
Okay, hold on.
While we wait, I'll just answer Jennifer Yap's question. So the thing about command campaigns is you can only select specific locations per ad. For example, only Subang Jaya or Petaling Jaya or Kuala Lumpur. And then you can further refine your audience in the interest part. So one shortcut we actually did for this is you just lower your ad budget and you actually run more ads. So for example, if you actually want to target audience in 3 locations, you run the same ad, but then you just choose Subang Jaya, Petaling Jaya, and Kuala Lumpur. And then you put in a lower ad budget for it.
Okay, can I share my screen now?
Yep, sure.
Okay, let me know whether you can see it.
Yep, we can see and it's loading.
Okay. So this is it. So this is the bungalow itself. So it's an empty bungalow, so you can see everything. So I think Matterport is really nicely done if like it's an empty bungalow or it's a fully furnished, nicely kept kind of unit. All right. So if like you do it in a messy house, I don't think it will be presentable to the audience. So for this particular bungalow, you can see you can just browse around through everything. So for this particular bungalow, and I've showed it to my clients as well, it gave them the impression that we are very tech enabled, and it gives them the confidence as well for us to at least like authorize us to list their house in public. So yeah, is this okay? If you guys want to see this, I can share it later in the link because it's open to.
Yeah, maybe Naki can actually share the Matterport link in the chat box later. Then you can slowly have a look. There are actually a few questions for you, Naki.
Right.
One from Jonathan Quek asking, did you use the ads that you shared earlier to get buyers or to attract listings?
To get buyers, but at the same time, I managed to get listings, which is good. And to add on that as well, because there's one more function to attract listing in our campaign, right? I've been using that in 3 of my campaigns. It seems not to be working. I did not get any leads, but I was trying a few locations, trying a few copywriting wording as well, but it does not getting leads for listings.
Yeah. Adding on to that, we also had like a mix when we use attract listing as a go on command campaigns, some of the ads our agent also did not actually get any leads, but we actually have this Instagram ad for Brandon to attract listings, and it actually did very well as well. So again, it's a very trial and error phase. So the more you actually run ads on command and campaigns, you actually get more familiar with it as well. And then you start to realize what you need to tweak to make your ad better or to get a better cost per lead at the end of the day. We have another question from Eric Lim asking Naki, have you tried taking listings from the Facebook ads? If yes, can you show some example?
I think that was the answer that I answered earlier. There is a function to get listings, but it seems buyers are more easier to get rather than sellers now. I'm not sure because the thing is, I did not target anything. I just use whatever is been given and just change location, demographics. I did not do any targeting in that sense, because initially when I did my first run, no targeting was done. The leads were good. So in fact, the targeting is like we cannot like really super target everything, like comparing to what we do individually in our Facebook account. So it's a trial and error thing, but one good thing is the leads are quite cheap. So might as well continue and doing trial and error.
And also there's a question from LS asking, did any property agents click on your ads? And did you actually include any interest in any of the ads that you ran so far?
Okay. Interest, like I told you, I did not put any targeting. I was using the default. Any agents who click on my ad, I will not know. The reason why, because I'm quite close with agents surrounding my area. So I know who are the agents and I already saved their numbers. So when I put on their numbers on my mobile, I did not, it's not their name. So I don't know, you probably other agents, I would not know. But the one I've called are all genuine buyers, or they pretend to be genuine buyers. So I cannot, I cannot confirm.
Okay, there's a follow-up question from LS asking, do you share the 3D virtual link after your initial communication with the leads, or you actually include the link under landing page?
Okay, for that particular bungalow ad, as a landing page, I put directly the 3D Matterport video, the 3D Matterport shot. If they want to click up until the end, they can see already the 3D virtual tour. But some of them did not click. They only click and just fill in the FB form. So from there, I will forward it to them as well.
Okay. Are there any other questions for Naki before we answer the other generic questions? Winnie has a Matterport question. For example, if you share your Matterport bungalow link with the owner and the owner share with other agents, can they use your link to share with other potential buyers?
Okay, this is quite tricky to answer because, all right, one thing about, I don't know, we need to derive this question from on what basis to avoid your property being, taken by other property agents or in general? She asking this but let me just answer you. This is quite tricky as well. Number one is when you do the Matterport shot, your details will be in that Matterport shot. You can put your name, you can put your phone number. There's no one can definitely change that. So if any buyers or viewers see this, they will see your information as well. So sometimes I think it really depends on your relationship with that particular seller. They will definitely give it. I think there's a highly likelihood they will give it to agents or any agents that is working in their house or to their prospects from the COA agent. But one thing you need to believe is like one thing. I think number one is get the exclusivity first. I think that's the most important thing because I've used 3D Matterport shot. I've managed to get 4 to 5 exclusivity from an open listings. Okay. But number two is you need to think positively. When other people sees this and they will see your name, they see you are an agent who's doing this. It can give you a competitive advantage as well. That's my point of view because I think in sub-sale market, in my current market that I'm doing now, I do not see this yet. Yeah. It's good that you probably start first and you can probably set the precedence to everyone, but at least you already have the edge of allowing people to see this guy because your name is there, your phone number is there, your RAN number is there, so people know that this guy is doing this. I think if you want to figure out, it can have some negativity. Definitely, people will take your listings, things like that. But I think at the same time as well, you are branding yourself, which in the long run is definitely better for you.
Jonathan Quirk has one last question for both you and Ashlyn. How much have you both spent on your KW campaign so far?
I won $60 up until now.
Mine 135.
There's also follow-up questions from JK. What were the mistakes you encounter in creating ads when you first started?
JK is asking a lot of questions. Anyway, I will not say mistakes because when I did my ad, I really thought it through. But it's something that you learn on and how you react to it because because you have control in terms of you can pause your ads and discontinue it and do another one. So when you think that your particular ad is not working, might as well you stop it. After just a few days, you see the leads is not coming in, you can stop it, you learn and you react correctly. What needs to be changed? Why am I not, attracting leads with this particular ad? Yeah. Mistakes is good for you to learn so you can correct yourself.
Just one last question from JK, then we will kind of open up the floor for a while for more generic questions. So Jonathan Kwok is asking, what is your total number of leads gotten from Command Campaign so far? Maybe you can just give a rough number because I know you're currently still running new ads as well.
Yeah, around 50 for myself.
I have 70.
Naki, thanks so much for your sharing. And now we want to kind of open up for more general Q&A session. And please do type all your questions and remind us if we missed any that we haven't answered previously during the interview session. Yunjin, can you share back the screen? Any other questions that me, Yunjin, Naki or Ashlyn can help to answer. I think Ati Malik asked a question earlier whether can we run ads for commercial, shop loss, and also for industrial. You can actually, is basically the same process. You can actually run it on Instagram or Facebook, and you just need to find your hook point for it. We actually featured recently Agnes Aloysius' command campaign success story. She ran an ad for one of her shop lot listings, and she actually gotten a buyer for it and closed the deal as well. So maybe you can contact her to get more information as well if you want to. Noreen has a question. What is the follow-up destination URL and ad listing? Yunqing, maybe you could share screen and show. It'll be clearer to help answer that question. If you guys have any other questions, please do type it in the chat box and we will try to answer them.
Okay, yeah. So the follow-up, is this the part that you're talking about? So the destination URL is, so after they click, like after they, okay, let's select a page first. So after they fill in the Facebook lead generation form, they can actually click further to a follow-up destination URL. So normally for the ads that we have been running for Readfill or KW Malaysia, we actually put the Facebook page. I have memorized this link by heart, guys. Okay, yeah. So we usually put this so that after they have submitted their lead generation or submitted their details for their contacts, then it would lead them to the Facebook page. So you have the option to either follow up with your Facebook page or your own website or even your WhatsApp contact number if you would like. So that is really up to you wherever you want them to follow up to lah. So the listing thing, I think we've mentioned earlier that for now we still don't have a big enough database yet. So for Malaysia, just specifically for Malaysia, we don't have the option to add this listing into your campaign yet. So that is why there are no records found. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question.
So as mentioned by Jonathan Lee, the ad listing function is coming very, very soon. And it will actually be announced on 25th November. So remember to attend our Tech Revolution event. And adding on to LS question, you have the option to include sub-sale in your ad when you publish it. But I recently had a conversation with Anita where she actually put up a bungalow listing and she received about 50 leads from it. And one interesting thing when she was contacting all her leads, she actually got listings offered by the leads that she collected. So she actually got lead offers for the listing she ran as an ad. And through contacting the leads, she actually collected more listings as well. So I would say that it's up to you whether you want to be very clear in your ad and you want to only target potential buyers, or maybe, for example, you want to kind of just make your ad as interesting as possible, put in your hook points, put in catchphrases, and you want to kind of communicate and follow up your leads and see where it goes from there as well. Okay, so Christopher Wong has a question. How do you put it in WhatsApp? So I can only share my experience with Android phone because I don't use iPhone. So what happens is you just need to, firstly, you can use PieSync to connect your contacts with your Google contacts. And then the other step I did was actually I just connected that particular email's Google contacts to my phone, and it easily appears as a contact as well. Yeah. So I will just mention briefly, and if you have any further questions about that, Christopher, you can actually post in our workplace command community group, and then everyone else can also help to answer that question. Okay, any other questions? So Laura has a question for Ashlyn and Naki. From the amount of leads that you captured from command campaigns, how many viewings have you had so far, if you don't mind sharing?
From mine, I had 9 viewings in total and multiple 3D virtual tours.
For mine, so far for next week, I have another 2 from this leads that I generated from campaign.
Thanks, guys. Any other questions we can help to answer regarding ad copy? Okay, if there's no questions, so if you have any follow-up questions that you all have after this session, do post it in the KW Command community group. So regional and also other agents can help to answer as well. Then I will pass the time to SSF to do some end announcements. Thank you, Ashlyn and Naki, for your sharing today.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Yuen. Thank you, Naki. Thank you, Ashlyn. And thank you, Qing, for sharing the session. So I think you have learned a lot from them. Basically, is the idea. So you can continue to communicate with one another through the command community. That's where everybody share their experience, ask any questions that you need, and you can learn from there. So it's a journey that we all journey together. So we learn from each other. We learn any new thing. We share with one another. That's where the KW family is all about. So with that, if any of you still need to purchase the book, basically you just send your request through your MCS or through the hello@refill.com, and thereby the process of sending the book to you will be arranged accordingly. So with that, thank you once again, everyone, for your time, for joining us, and we hope you have an exciting journey in doing your campaign, and most of all, wish you all have a good leads and a good closing through this exercise campaign together. So all the best to all of you. Thank you very much.